All right, don't tell Steph Curry it's only preseason. He dropped this right before the Warriors preseason opener. Quote, "Keep going, young fella." Hashtag locked in. And he was. LeBron and Luka have yet to play in the preseason. But DeAndre Ayton looked pretty solid in this one. 21 minutes, Ayton collected 7 points and 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, Bobby.
Yeah, you got to look at what he looked like with Luka out there. Certainly rolled to the rim a lot, alley-oop.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. But Steph had something to say about this guy, Al Horford.
He gives us space. He gives us presence on the defensive end. You saw the pass he made to me out the corner on a give and go. So it's just kind of unspoken chemistry that will continue to get better.
Nice point there by Steph. Speaking of Curry, he also looked solid. Here, Curry with a series of nice dribble moves. Gets inside for the floater. Ooh, yeah. And a few minutes later, then we found Draymond to Steph, just like the last decade and a half.
Yeah, I've seen that play before.
Of it. Yeah. Curry into another one of his dribble packages here. Dishes it to Jimmy. What do you think of Butler's addition here, Mark?
Butler's addition?
Yeah. Now that they've had some time to go into the offseason with him.
I mean, him being there at a training camp, he also put the guys together in a group in San Diego.
Yep.
Got some more time with him, so Butler will be nice for him this year.
Connect with the miss here. LeBron James with the putback.
He looked more comfortable, didn't he, Ramona?
Well, he certainly didn't look very comfortable in the first game. So
yeah, well,
Warriors win this one, 111 to 103.
Talking about yesterday.
Okay. All right, welcome into NBA Today. George Sedano in for Malika Andrews. I'm here with the Hall of Famer Mark Spears, our senior insider Ramona Shelburne, Bobby Marks, our front office insider. So, Ramona, what did you see from the Warriors last night?
I saw all the Warriors out there. I mean,
yeah.
I saw the main guys playing and taking this seriously. And I think that's huge for them because when Jimmy Butler was acquired at the trade deadline, they were really good when he was on the court together with Steph Curry. And then he gets hurt, Steph gets hurt, and we didn't really get to see them finish off last season together as a healthy unit. And it's important to me that they are taking the preseason seriously, trying to get minutes on the court together, trying to figure out how they play off of each other. And, I mean, the Lakers weren't really playing their 2 main guys here, and so it's hard to judge their performance. But the Warriors want to come out of the gates fast here, you can tell.
Yeah, and they're deep. I talked about that with Steve Kerr last night. They feel good about their roster right now. Maybe there'll be some stuff they have to figure out from 9 to 11. But last year they went into the season, Mark, having to figure out like 6 different things. Yeah. But Jonathan Kuminga is one of those things they'll have to figure out a role for. He signs his contract. Stalemate is over.
Yeah.
What do you see from him?
Happiness, joy, peace, which is surprising. I mean, I've been around a while. I remember seeing Iverson being unhappy in Memphis, if you remember that. And
don't go too far. Jimmy Butler. We were just talking about him, right?
Steven Jackson won now in Golden State. Kevin Durant not being happy. But I saw Kuminga dancing after the game, and he told me he was at peace. I think the guys, Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, and Buddy Hield played a good role in, like, giving them support. And I think that helped him a lot. He comes from a family from Congo that he said they never were a stressful family. That's not his DNA. And regardless to whether he's at Golden State or somewhere else, he feels like he's going to figure it out. But at Golden State, he's like, I'm committed here, and I want to win a championship here.
Yeah.
So it didn't sound like somebody who was trying to force his way out.
I'm curious to see, though, if he does the little things. A couple years ago, he was starting to do that. Remember, we had this big to-do about him and Steve.
He did say it was important for him to be very good on both sides of the court.
Yeah, I would agree that definitely is important for them. I mean, this is a guy who's got 30-point potential. Mm-hmm. We saw that in the games that Steph wasn't around after he went down due to injury. But a couple years ago, after the big to-do with him and Steve Kerr, they had this come to Jesus meeting or whatever, and he started doing the little things, and he could fall into 14, 15 points a game, Bobby. So what do you think can carry over with this group here moving forward in the regular season?
Well, I mean, I think when you look at the regular season, and we're going to go over to the touchscreen, if you're Mike Dunleavy Jr., their general manager, you're feeling pretty good this morning as far as where this roster was. And we didn't even see Al Horford last night in that starting role there for them. There was certainly a lot of different matchups. This is their depth when you look at it with Gary Payton the second and Al Horford and Seth Curry and Jonathan Kuminga. Yeah. That's not their starting lineup with Steph Curry and Moses Moody. And here's some of the questions that we went into the offseason with. How can they get some size at 5? We heard Steve Kerr talking about how we're not going to see Draymond Green as much at the 5. Now you add Al Horford to the mix, a mobile rim protector here. Certainly Horford. Front court depth. You sign Jonathan Kuminga in the offseason here. Defensive mind reserve guards. Gary Payton is back. I think the biggest question, can you find that consistent third scorer? That plagued them a little bit during the postseason here. You have Steph Curry. You have Jimmy Butler to this roster. Buddy Hield is back. We brought back DeAnthony Melton, who's going to be out 4 weeks here. But they've addressed a lot of things that we were questioning in the offseason. And you saw, at least in those first 2 quarters last night, this Golden State team with Steph Curry on the court could be dangerous here.
Well, and the Jimmy thing is interesting because it allows them to get set on defense, which is important because he gets to the line. He doesn't turn the ball over. I think all those things are important. Speaking of important, the King has put out something on his social media about the decision of all decisions coming tomorrow at noon Eastern. Ramona, anything to this?
We all obviously saw this and thought, whoa, is he announcing something? And I don't know that we should get all that worked up about it. Just from those first
vibes
call, vibes, text, whatever. It doesn't sound like it. Yeah, something like that. It doesn't sound like it's something to get all that worked up about. He did this earlier in the summer and it ended up being an ad, so we'll see what this is tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough.
Whatever.
Not a farewell.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see what it is tomorrow anyway. All right. Whenever LeBron is back on the court for the Lakers, he'll have a new teammate in DeAndre Ayton. I caught up with him last night. Let's take a listen here.
I'm really just showing the team I can be a good rim protector for them, anchoring the defense, and just having a good communicative terminology to my guys, and just being their backbone out there.
How has the assimilation process been for you in just your second preseason game and a little bit of camp with the Lakers?
It's been fun, just running out, having a terminology where JJ's letting us go out there and just play hard, be physical and just get our tails in shape.
DeAndre, good luck. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.
Now, it's interesting, Bobby, you started to address it earlier when we saw the highlights. JJ told us yesterday he wants them to play with force and physicality. That's what they're working on right now, specifically in the preseason. But how did Ayton look like? What did Ayton look like to you?
You saw a little bit of a glimpse last night, and this was out without Luka in the game as far as the ability to roll to the rim. We saw him certainly a couple alley-oops here. I think it's going to be interesting when Luka is out there with him, ability to set him up, pick and roll. But there were glimpses last night as far as how effective DeAndre Ayton could be without a Luka Doncic on the court.
He's one of the best pick and roll guys in the NBA. He's also had some up and downs in his career, as you can attest to. But this is different. This ain't Phoenix. This ain't Portland. This spotlight, I think, is going to bring the best out of him, and it has to bring the best out of him. If he's going to get the easiest shots of his career, he's going to play with 2 of the best players in the history of the world. They're going to make him better every day. And if he brings that talent that he has, he could be an X factor for something special in LA.
Every interview I've heard him give so far this year has been him embracing his role. Like, he seems to understand that this is what the Lakers need him for, rim protection and being a lob threat. And if he's good with that, if he's bought into that, I think that's exactly what the Lakers are looking for out of DeAndre Ayton. But if he's trying to score more or prove himself that he can be a dominant post or whatever it is, then that's not going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of it is, people have questioned his desire, and we'll see if that comes to fruition here in a positive way for the Lakers. All right.
Warriors Nation, this is the kind of story that fires you up as a fan, because it's not just about talent, it's about belief, redemption, and a new spark igniting in the Golden State locker room. Welcome back to Warriors Nation News, and today we're talking about a young star who's been through the storm, who's fought through criticism, contract drama, and doubt, and now, finally, he's earning respect where it matters most. I'm talking about Jonathan Kuminga, and the veteran who just gave him one of the biggest votes of confidence yet, Al Horford. This is not just another off-season fluff headline. This is a moment that tells you something deeper about where the Warriors are heading, about chemistry, growth, and the hunger that's coming back to this team after a long, uncertain summer. A summer of questions, now a season of answers. Let's rewind. The Warriors spent most of this offseason in limbo, waiting to figure out the future of Jonathan Kuminga. Would he be traded? Would he re-sign? Would he stay committed to Steve Kerr's system after the tension that boiled over last season? Those questions hung over the franchise like a cloud for months, but that chapter is closed. Kuminga has officially re-signed for $48.5 million, and the focus now is entirely on the future, on basketball, on chemistry, on winning. And it's not just his teammates saying the right things in press conferences. They're showing genuine excitement about what Kuminga brings to this team. Veterans like Steph and Curry have already shown public support for him after their preseason matchups. But now, Al Horford, one of the most respected voices in the league, is not just praising Kuminga, he's highlighting him as one of the key reasons he's excited about being a Warrior. Al Horford's praise: he's the type of player that's just fun to play with, a guy like that. Because of the pace that he wants to play at and how he wants to attack the basket. I actually enjoy playing that way. That right there is basketball IQ meeting raw athleticism. Horford gets it. Kuminga's ability to attack the basket forces defenses to collapse, and when that happens, shooters like Horford, Seth Curry, and even Butler will feast on open looks. This isn't just about highlights or dunks, it's about geometry, rhythm, and balance, and the Warriors might just have found a new formula for offensive flow. Horford went on to say, he's the type of player that's just fun to play with, a guy like that, because of the pace that he wants to play at and how he wants to attack the basket. I actually enjoy playing that way. That's not small talk. That's a seasoned veteran saying he sees something special. And that should mean a lot, because if Horford sees it, you can bet Steve Kerr sees it too. The Kuminga factor: energy, explosiveness, and a new identity. Let's talk about what makes Kuminga such a difference maker. He's not just another athletic wing, he's a physical force of nature. Few players in the league can blend his size, speed, and vertical explosion. When he's attacking the rim, the defense feels it. When he's engaged defensively, the energy shifts. And when he's confident, the Warriors look like a completely different team. Last season, even through all the ups and downs, he averaged 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game in just 26 minutes. And those numbers came in a year where his role fluctuated constantly. Imagine what happens now with his contract secure, his focus renewed, and veterans like Horford and Curry encouraging him to attack every possession with purpose. This is the version of Kuminga they drafted him to become. Not just a project, not just an athlete, but a key piece of a championship roster. The dynamic duo, Horford and Kuminga. Let's not underestimate what Horford brings to this partnership. At 38 years old, he's not here to chase stats or minutes. He's here to stabilize, to mentor, to teach spacing and timing, two things that can completely unlock Kuminga's game. Horford stretches the floor with his shooting, allowing Kuminga the freedom to slash inside without clogging the paint. And Horford understands rhythm, how to screen, when to seal, when to give a young player the lane. Those details are gold for someone like Kuminga, who thrives in motion but sometimes struggles to find his spots in the half court. What Horford and Kuminga can build together, especially in bench-heavy lineups, could be the spark that separates this team from last year's inconsistencies. The Warriors no longer have Klay Thompson's automatic shooting or Wiggins' isolation rhythm to rely on, so they'll need energy, athleticism, and paint pressure. That's what Kuminga brings. That's what Horford knows how to amplify. The bigger picture: a bench that can change games. Here's what's really exciting. Neither Horford nor Kuminga is guaranteed a starting role. Steve Kerr reportedly prefers to open games with a smaller, more defensive-minded lineup centered around Curry, Butler, Draymond, and Brandon Podziemski. But that doesn't mean Horford and Kuminga will play minor roles. Far from it. Kuminga could become the heartbeat of the second unit. Imagine him coming off the bench with Seth Curry, Gary Payton II, and Melton. That's speed, shooting, and intensity all at once. He could realistically become a Sixth Man of the Year candidate if he embraces this role. And with Horford mentoring him, keeping him grounded and focused, that potential becomes even more real. Every great Warriors team has had a bench weapon that flipped games. Iguodala in 2015, Jordan Poole in 2022, Gary Payton II in 2023. This season, that player could easily be Jonathan Kuminga. a new chapter of trust and unity. What's most encouraging is the shift in tone inside the locker room. Last season ended with tension, uncertainty, and rumors of disconnect. Now veterans are publicly backing the young guys, young players are responding with maturity, and the chemistry that defined the dynasty years is slowly returning. Curry has spoken repeatedly about getting everyone on the same page. Draymond has emphasized leadership and accountability. And now Horford, one of the most respected voices in the entire league, is not just echoing those sentiments, but putting his arm around a young player who needed that support the most. This is how dynasties rebuild from within, not through trades or headlines, but through belief, through mentorship, through unity. So Warriors Nation, here's the takeaway. Jonathan Kuminga is not just back, he's being believed in. The players see it, the coaches see it, the fans are starting to feel it. And when veterans like Al Horford get excited about playing alongside a young guy, it usually means something big is about to happen. So now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe this is Kuminga's breakout year? Do you think he can become the next X factor off the bench, maybe even a sixth man of the year contender? And how do you feel about this new chemistry brewing between Horford and the young star? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button if you're feeling confident about this new-look Warriors team, and make sure you're subscribed to Warriors Nation News for more updates, reactions, and deep dives as the new season unfolds. Because this year, the Bay might just be ready to rise again, louder, faster, and hungrier than ever.